And we honestly believe that these issues, the remaining issues that are to be resolved, really do not need any postponement, because we think that the solution is possible to all this. With the new environment created, that the truth should prevail, the spirit of give and take will always be there, the spirit of win and win situation in which we signed the other 8 agreements. So really postponement is delaying without any strong reason for it. But what can we say? What we need at the end of the day is a solution to these problems, and we think that solutions are possible.
You think that concessions can be made by both sides? You sense a glimmer of hope?
You know, this is the issue, especially on ABA. We signed a protocol since 2005. The terms of the agreement that both sides have committed themselves to are quite clear and are quite possibly to be implemented. The delays in really implementing what we had agreed upon has always been the intransigent position and the difficult position that the Republic of Sudan has been taking. And that's why we say delaying the process. It does not help to speed up the implementation process and the spirit by which we have agreed on the other remaining issues of the comprehensive peace agreement. That is our position. We had to go to The Hague for the borders to be demarcated. We came back, all of us, convinced that we're going to implement the referendum to go ahead, and there we are. We've been bogged down until a lot of crises grew out of that. So we believe that the spirit of finding a solution, a permanent solution, because what is just will always remain just. It is not postponing the time.
I just wanted to give you a chance, an opportunity before we lose you, to respond to what the Minister has said there.
Well, the Minister, what he said is true, is reflecting the situation. But then one would add to what the Minister have said, the thorny point of who has the right to vote according to the protocol, ABA protocol of 2005. The protocol stated that the people who have the right to vote, number 1, Denkanok, number 2, the Sudanese who are resident in the ABA region. The Sudan government and the SPLM interpret this as excluding the Miseria, whereby the Miseria and the Sudan government interpret this as including the Miseria. This is the reason why the referendum was not done in January 2011, and this is the reason why the ABA issue is not easily solved via a referendum unless the two countries and the two tribes reach an agreement on the right or the lack of right of the Miseria to vote.
Minister, do you want to respond to that?
Well, with due respect to what the other partner is saying, the issue of who should vote in a referendum is determined by the residency of that individual in a particular place. We know that in a BA area there are the 9 Mok Dinkas and any other resident of a BA. It does not really include those who are living outside a BA who may come there for 2-3 months. They cannot have a right of vote. This is even on international law that's not possible. You have got gypsies in Europe who move all across different countries, and when they come to a country where there is voting, they don't have a right to vote because they are passing through. So that's why we say there's going to be the realistic situation of what ABA, how ABA ended up to where it is now. Facts are very clear to both sides. The person who is eligible to vote is a resident of a BA area. Not only the Sudanese, even any other person there who has stayed for more than, for a period determined by the agreement will be the person eligible to vote. The Miseria they are talking about, these are Miseria who move to different parts of South Sudan, not in a BA. There are some Miseria who go to the other parts in Warab state. Some even go as far as northern Bahr el Ghazal state. And if there are elections there, they are not expected to vote because they come for grazing season. And then they go back to their permanent homes where they are residing. That's where they are supposed to vote. But the Miseria who are resident in a BA, and that's where their home is, those will vote. But those who just come with the animals in order to assess water and grazing areas, according to international law, they are not visible for such an exercise.
Douglas Johnson, we've got about 2 minutes left on the programme. I'm going to give you what may turn out to be the last word here, an opportunity to respond to the Minister there. As we said back at the beginning of the programme, you were involved with the Abyei Boundaries Commission in 2005. If you were tasked with finding a solution to this crisis now, with the Minister listening, what would you suggest?
Well, I was tasked in a way to find a solution, and whatever solution I proposed failed, so I'm not sure that I'm the best person to ask about that. I'll just repeat the points that I was making earlier before the Minister came, which is there is a legitimate concern on the part of the Miseria about access to grazing, but it's not just access to grazing in Abyei, it's access to grazing in Unity and Dhuor up in northern Bahr Ghazal, as he said. There's a provision in the border agreement for both countries, both governments, to begin to set up some sort of management of the transhumant rights of pastoralists that cross that border. And I think that should be the focus of the international community and the two governments and the local societies, to come up with a way that guarantees the right of access, but also guarantees the security of the people who are, of the migrants, but also the security of the host communities. If that is the real sticking point, then that should be the focus of any discussion.
And that's where we'll leave it. Gentlemen, I'm afraid that time has beaten us once again. Thank you all for being with us. In Juba, Minister Barnaba Marial Benjamin; in Oxford, Douglas Johnson; and in Khartoum, Safwat Fanos. And thank you for joining us on this edition of Inside.